Hello, I'm Ben, DivKid, and welcome to this video where I won't patch Eurorack synthesizers, which you may have seen me do before, but rather patch this 5U MU larger format modular synthesizer. I wanted to share my literal first patch, building up a patch from scratch in a raw, unedited way, just to share that experience, and here's where I ended up. I'm filming this after I've just filmed the patch, and let's take a listen to where I got to. And for clarity, I've been working with synthesizers.com for some months now on future sponsored videos that will be an introduction to the wider 5U MU format. We have synthesizers.com in here, STG Soundlabs, Frequency Central, Moon Modular, Corsynth, Synthetic Soundlabs, Noise Engineering, and M2 Synth. And this system's been put together with everyone's support to represent the 5U MU space as a whole. And with that in mind, I want to know if you have any questions. While sharing my first experience is a nice thing to do, and it's been really good, as you'd expect, patching 1/4-inch jacks feels good, and weirdly, and I hope this comes across, sounds good. There's a really satisfying clunk to a 1/4-inch jack that's just really pleasurable, but turning big knobs, playing with the bigger layouts, it feels like an instrument that's really malleable and just begs to kind of be played. It's been really fun. But going back to questions, are you 5U curious, MU curious? Do you want to know about specific brands, the differences to other formats, how the power and cases work? I'd love to know what questions you might have, and please leave those down in the comments. I can then use those comments to inform the video that will introduce the format properly, and then we can better inform you by you informing us of what you want to know. So with all that said, there's a couple of things in the description that you might like. There's a timing index if you'd like to skip around rather than just see it in its unedited kind of full patch from scratch form. And I'll also go through and link to a post that will be the signal path of where I ended up. So you can try these things on different systems, these modules, 5U, Eurorack. Certainly try out mixed modulation of the filter if that's not something you do in your patching. Go check those out in the description. And without further ado, let's dive in. So I have my output cable here in a VCA. There should be enough headroom. Apologies if this clips or something and there hasn't been enough headroom. I've plugged the oscillator in, set the mixer, and used that as a kind of base level with a bit of added headroom. We'll start with an oscillator. And I don't really have much of an agenda. I'm just going to try and patch up a nice big kind of synth sound, if you like, with plenty of different modulation and some of the other options in this case going on. Patch an oscillator out to our VCA. This is a dual oscillator. It's the Oscillator Plus. What attracted me to that was there's a whole kind of modulation bus on there that you can switch into VCAs and LFOs and all sorts of other things. So let's try and get like a rich sound just out of this as our kind of base. So pulse, LFO, we can be switching into PWM. Let's go slow and wide. And then there is a mixer that kind of just crossfades between the two oscillators. Let's also have another pulse, PWM. So unison, PWM, we could sync it, a big open octave, well, 3 octaves. Quite like a bit of that sync overtone in there. Let's stick with that and let's filter it. I have a few filters here, but we'll go Frequency Central, the Whiteface, which is an ARP style filter. It's based on the Odyssey. I have to double check. Some drive, which is like an input level. I watched Twist the Filter all day because I could. It's the first time hearing it. It sounds good. Got loads of drive. Nice. Let's get some modulation going, and I don't have any kind of keyboard or external sequencing. I do have this Matrix algorithmic composer. No idea how it works, but run. It's blinking at tempo. So for now, let's take a gate out. And let's just gate an envelope. We'll use these Corsynth contour generators. And let's patch up into the filter. Okay, that's looping. There we go. Okay. So nice kind of plucky filter stuff. One of my favourite modulation pairings is this kind of pulsing, short percussive filter envelope stuff, but with some stepped random. We did put a sample and hold in there, so let's split the gate in a mult and keep triggering the envelope, but we'll trigger the sample and hold to sample and hold gate in, picking up a dropped cable, sample and hold out, noise normals up. These arrows are quite handy to show normaling here. We've got CV in too. So as I turn this down, CV2 doesn't have any attenuation on the filter, but the noise into the sample and hold has an attenuator, so we can kind of get a blend. Nice exciting mix of modulation, and we can probably mix some envelopes and LFOs on here, kind of have a freeway modulation of like LFO, looping envelope, stepped random, and the envelope. If I come out of the AB out and set that to loop, there's a balance control. The gates have been tied together there, so let's loop the first one, presuming that doesn't normal to it. No, so gate A normals to gate B on these envelopes, but B not back to A. Okay, so we'll loop A. And let's just pull out this for now. Don't any of this sample and hold. Yeah, so we can hear just this looping. But then on B, let's not loop. Get like a balance of those. There, so hopefully you can hear this kind of push and pull of that loop and the pulse of the triggered AD. Sample and hold back in. This filter sounds really good. Yeah, nice. That's often the first kind of thing I do when I'm patch, is try and get movement and excitement happening quite quickly. We should probably do something with pitch. We get a CV out of here. and these all normal, so into the pitch of the oscillators. Maybe that's a pitch range. Scale, let's go Aeolian, look like a minor thing. Interval and theme, just turn some up, see what happens. Okay, patterns are happening, I'm into that. Let's add some effects. I've got a Moon Modular BBD delay, Bucket Brigade delay. So take my output cable down there with dry wet out. And we don't need a VCA, that's really just a level control. So we'll go out of the filter down to the delay. And there's a short and long balance of BBDs. Let's start short and fully wet, see what we get. Oh, feedback's a bit tasty. Oh, we do like flangey, LFO delay time stuff. That's quite nice when you just blend a bit in. But on the long side, okay, there's a filter. Alright, filter in the delay line to cut the noise. We'll leave that on. Get rid of the delay, that's too intense. Okay, kind of bouncy, slappy echo. And flangery stuff, so if we balance that short and long, just have a bit of it. Bit of background flavour. Yeah, slappy flavour. Let's go through, we do like a dual filter thing maybe. We've got a ladder in there. That's fine, this could be a high pass. I really like the sounding low, so let's go across to the state variable there from DotCom, coming out of the high pass. And let's go low pass, high pass. Got that great kind of throaty band where it's being fixed in the low and high pass. And one trick I really like doing when you've got two filters is audio rate modulating one but not the other. Let's try, leave the low pass fully open. We'll take one of the oscillators into the cutoff of the high pass. See it like that. It's a bit intense and it doesn't sound happy. We'll maybe try the lower oscillator too. This is quite nice. It just adds, it's like plain high passing, but with the oscillator that's going into the low pass that's then going into the high pass. Let's just take the oscillator straight in. It's kind of rubbery. Bit of character, something I really like doing in a lot of the Eurorack filters that I use. And I've got one cable left. I don't advise patching by having to use all the cables. I want to use it as I'm just playing and exploring here. I wonder if we can do something with... I have no idea what the sequencer's doing. It's something I'm really interested in, this idea of algorithmic composing here. There is a reset. We can maybe reset this from maybe like an LFO or something. Taken out. Okay, it looks like it's re-triggering. Is that maybe too fast? Okay, and there's a gated reset. What's that do? Oh, it stops. So rather than kind of resetting this LED bar, which is then, I presume, forming the sequence as it falls, let's get a sequence going. Okay, then reset, but gated reset. So this plays when this is green and not when it's red. It's a positive or a negative signal, I'm not sure which. Stops and starts the matrix. I wonder what it's like when you do that quite fast. Looks like a clock divider, but not being in sync. Occasionally 2 notes are slipping through. That's quite interesting. Dum dum ba dum dum. It's a bit slower if that happens more regularly. It's like a kind of odd shuffle. That's quite cool, where this free running rate sometimes gives 2 notes, sometimes 3. I'm not using that many modules, but it's an absolute beast of a sound. Affected, modulating, lively kind of. That's what I thought it would be when we kind of designed this system together. I mean, there's no VCAs involved, which is something I do quite a lot, to be honest. Oscillates into filters, and I'm usually pretty happy just closing filters down. Well, that's fun with the audio rate. Making a high pass do kind of weird stuff. So if you've got this far in the video, go drop a hard sync in the comments. And nicely for me saying that stupidly at the end of every video, we did do some hard sync in this patch. The experience of patching this has been great, it feels great, it sounds great, it's really performable. The larger format just warrants getting your hands in and playing, and I'll certainly be sharing more of that experience in the future. Do let us know any questions you have about 5U or MU specifically, or even what MU is separately to 5U as a whole. We'll definitely be using those comments to better inform the future video, which will be introducing the format properly. Hit like and subscribe, that all helps out the channel. You can support me on patreon.com/DivKid, and I'll see you next time. Bye!